Ryan Garcia potential fight at a catchweight with Pitbull Cruz. That's what he's saying. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. Now, I got a lot to say. What is new? A lot of boxing tidbits just going on in this space since 2025. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at Boxing Ego 1. The link can be found in the description. Ryan did a media scrum in Los Angeles. He was at Tom Loeffler's fight card where he stated, and I made this graphic for you guys over there on my Instagram. He stated that if he fights Pitbull Cruz, the idea is to fight at 144 pounds, which would be a catchweight in between 140 and 147. As you guys know, Ryan Garcia had issues making weight when he fought Devin Haney. He came in heavy, paid a penalty, the fight resumed, and the fight was what it was. So that's the latest. Ryan proposed that the Pitbull fight, if it happens, should be at this weight class. Now, ego thoughts, which is what you guys clicked on the video for. The hypocrisy is insane in boxing. Here's why. The Tank hate is so crazy. If Tank does this, that, the third, it's hated. Fans say, I hate this, I hate that, and they laundry list all these things that they do not like. Like, for example, because this is very easy for me. Fans will say stuff like, Tank hasn't fought anybody, his resume is bad. But then Pitbull later on, after losing to Tank, fights Rolly after Rolly had lost to Tank, and Tank fought Pitbull when he was once beaten and never been knocked out. And Rolly was undefeated when Tank fought him and set a Barclay record that did better business than Haney Garcia. When Pitbull later fought Rolly, everybody said, I like this fight. It's a good fight. We watched it. And you had content creators or whatever doing watch parties and, commentating on the fight. So Tank, his resume sucks, but Pitbull could fight Rolly. It's a good fight. Now, after losing to not only Tank and the guy he had already lost to, Pitbull just recently moved to 140 where he did not look good, and he lost to Jose El Rayo Valenzuela, who we find out is fighting Gary Antoine Russell, and I made a video about that on the page. So Pitbull does have a scheduled fight, like a tune-up fight or whatever, on the David Benavidez, David Morrell card, but the point remains, that'll be a quick win. He should win on paper, but it's boxing, so we have to wait and see. But how is it that guys can get beaten by Tank and all of a sudden they become legendary opponents for somebody else? But these content creators, I told you, there's a lot of misinformation, disinformation, and low quality content. People rushing out content, people hating, a bunch of clickbait, huge news, big news, breaking news, and then it'd be a lie. And then it'd be clickbait. Big, huge news, breaking news, this fight is happening, the contracts are agreed and verbal agreement, and then nothing happens, and then the fight falls apart, right? So I noticed a campaign from the usual suspects, the resistance to hate on Tank, right? And now, like I've been saying, anybody else who fights Tank's leftovers, these are now good fights. Pitbull Rolly, Ryan Pitbull. When Ryan was fighting Devin Haney last year, these are all amazing fights to people. But previously, when Tank fought him, they said he needs to fight somebody because his resume is bad, which is impossible. If his resume is so bad, why is everyone fighting his leftovers? So the other contradiction is Tank fought Ryan and there were weight stipulations, rehydration clause, and a catch weight. This fight has a catch weight. I don't know if it has a rehydration clause because it hasn't actually formally been announced. And now the Tank haters who said, I hate Tank for weight stipulations and catch weights, they didn't hate Canelo when he had rehydration clauses. They didn't hate, X, Y, and Z, but they hate Tank for the catch weight. And now Ryan is telling you he is planning. Will it happen? I don't know. I'm not Turkey or Riad season. But now he's telling you the plan is to fight Tank's leftover at a catch weight. And again, people are like boosting it up. Ryan himself, he's like, this is a great opponent. Pitbull's always been considered a tough opponent and tough opposition. The fans are in for a good fight, blah, blah, blah. So I find it pretty remarkable that Tank ain't fought nobody, said haters, and now Pitbull becomes a legendary opponent. All these guys hated the catchweight. Pitbull did not look good versus El Rayo in general. That was at 140. Now he has to move up 4 pounds, 5 pounds, 7 pounds to fight Ryan Garcia, who's clearly bigger than him, and he will be one fight removed from the Rolly fight at best. That's if he even keeps it. The other thing that I do not like is, and Pitbull didn't look good in this Giovanni Cabrera fight, and he got knocked out by Zepeda afterwards. But that's something separate. But now for Ryan, people are like, oh, this is great. Ryan saving boxing, Turkey saving boxing. The other issue, I do not like what Riad's season is doing by negotiating in public, talking about all these fights, and you still got hurdles. VADA testing for Ryan and Devin. Pitbull got an opponent. You double booked Israel Madrimov. I told you that was stupid because Boachuk is no pushover. So Madrimov would have to get past him, win, injury-free, and then fight against Virgil Ortiz. And for me, that's a bit much, especially back-to-back. It's not like they were pushing out Madrimov, Virgil Ortiz. They're talking about one fight in November, December, or whatever on the Usyk Fury card, and then be back in February. Back-to-back tough fights. This is really stupid. The planning is stupid. The organization is stupid. And I'm not saying the organization as the brand, the way they're trying to organize this. Talking about Pitbull, but he's coming off a loss. He hasn't even cleared his opponent. And then we're talking about Ryan. They're talking about interim fights for Ryan and Devin, and then they'll fight each other. Why doesn't Ryan and Devin just give us the fight we want and go straight into it? So a lot of questions there. And the earlier question from this video is how come people complained and said that they hated, all of a sudden they don't hate, but they hated catchweights when it came to Tank, but they're okay listening to Ryan say he wants to catch weight a guy he's way bigger than, who happens to be Tank's leftovers. You let me know in the comments section.